Yeah, this one's creepy. It's 3:33 in the morning. You are alone in your house. Then you hear a knock at the door. You go to check it out. There is no one there. Maybe you just imagined it. You go back to bed and try to sleep, but you can't. Something is off. You keep replaying the sound in your head, the sound of that knock. And when you do, you hear something else. You hear a voice that sounds like it's from the future saying your name. Then you hear a scream. If that happened to me, I would call the police. I mean, what the hell? It's exactly what this guy did. He called 911. Let's listen to the call. Hello, 911. What's your emergency? I think I just recorded the sound of my own death. Sir, what? I think I recorded the sound of my own death. Okay. When I replayed the footage, I heard a voice say my full name and then a scream from tomorrow. Well, now you got my attention. What is this guy talking about? Did he really just record a scream from tomorrow? How is that even possible? It's obviously not. He didn't record a scream from tomorrow. But let's continue listening to the call because maybe there is more to the story. Okay, so you said you recorded the sound of your death. When was this at? It was 3:33 this morning. Went to go check it because I heard some noises. I opened up the phone app and I recorded a minute of it. I played it back and I started to hear things in it that I didn't before. I heard a voice say my full name and then a female scream. What sounded like it was from tomorrow morning. He does sound pretty calm for a guy who thinks he recorded the sound of his own death. I would be freaking out if that happened to me. Okay, so you want to tell me what your name is and where you're at? Yeah, sure. My name is Name. I'm at Redacted Portland. Oh, okay. So we got a name and a location. Now we just got to send an officer over there to check it out. But dispatch, there's a problem. The call cuts to static. Couldn't hear anything else that he had to say. And they sent officers over to his house, but they didn't find anything. His front door was unlocked, but there was no sign of forced entry. His phone was sitting right there on the kitchen counter with the screen open to the gallery, playing the audio that he had recorded. And on that recording, you could hear him scream, but not just any scream. You could hear him scream tomorrow's date. This is what dispatch wrote down. Approximately 3:33 a.m. tomorrow morning, which was yesterday morning, the resident called 911 and reported hearing a noise. He stated that he believed that he had recorded the sound of his own death. He stated that when he listened to the recording, he could hear a male voice that said his full name followed by a female scream that sounded like it was from tomorrow morning. The recording played on the phone was of the resident screaming tomorrow's date. The resident is still missing, and we don't know what happened to him. I know this case is over a year old, but it just gets weirder and weirder the more I think about it. If he really did record a scream from tomorrow, how is that even possible? And why would he have done that? Why is he still missing? Was he abducted by a time-traveling serial killer? I don't know. No. All I do know is that I would want to be the guy that has to tell his wife or girlfriend, or whoever that he's dating, that he's never coming home because he's busy screaming into the abyss of time or space. Whatever it is, that's awkward. We got another creepy 911 call for you guys to watch right over here. These ones from Texas, and they're terrifying. We'll see you over there. That was creepy. That call came in just after midnight on a Saturday. The caller ID showed a Franklin County line. The 911 dispatcher who picked up that call has been doing this job for almost 14 years. She's heard it all, seen it all. So when she got that call, she had no idea it would end up being one of the strangest calls of her career. Hello? 911? What's your emergency? The dispatcher could hear crying on the other end of the line. Hi, my daddy's home. Okay, what's wrong? He's home, but that's not you. The child was crying very hard now. He was saying things that didn't make sense. The dispatcher tried to calm him down. Baby, what's your name? Matthew. Can you tell me what's going on? He says he's Papa, but his eyes are empty. What do you mean by that? He's an imposter? He's pretending to be my daddy, but he's not my daddy. The child was now screaming. He kept repeating, he's not my daddy. The dispatcher stayed on the line with the child for several minutes, trying to get him to calm down, trying to figure out what was happening. Dispatch notes showed they were pinging the location to try to find the child. They got a location on the north side of Columbus. The dispatcher kept asking questions, trying to get more information. She asked if the child was home alone. Yes. How long has he been home alone? All day? Did he answer? Yes, the child said his mom went to work, and then she never came back. And then this man came in his car, and he's been here ever since. Then what happened? Then he took my blankie and he threw it away. That made the child cry even harder. The dispatcher knew she needed to get help on the way. She sent police and paramedics to that address. And while she stayed on the line with the child, the call lasted about 12 minutes. Finally, the child stopped crying. He started talking in a normal tone of voice. It was almost like nothing had happened. "Hello, hello. Are you there?" "Yeah. Where are the police?" "They're on the way. They'll be there soon." "Okay, I have to go." He hung up. Less than a minute later, they got another call from that same number. This time, it was the neighbor calling 911. They found a little boy wandering around the backyard of that house. He was barefoot, and he was wearing only a diaper. He was unharmed. He was taken to Nationwide Children's Hospital. That's standard procedure in these types of cases. As it turns out, the man who was pretending to be the child's father was actually the child's real father. At that moment, he was in the hospital being treated for a drug overdose. The child's mother had called 911 too, but that call was disconnected. Dispatchers were never able to reach her again. This case was investigated by Children's Services. We don't know the outcome of that investigation. We don't know where the child is now or if he's okay. But we do know that the father has an extensive criminal history in Franklin County. Just this year, he was arrested twice on drug charges. I want to say that again. Just this year, he was arrested twice on drug charges. Aunt, imagine how a dad could look at his own child and pretend like he was there, like he didn't exist. I also can't imagine how a mom could leave her child home alone for days. There's no excuse for that. What's the strangest call you've ever received? I'd love to hear your stories. Leave them in the comments. If you like this video, share it with your friends and family. Follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel for more. This is a 911 call from the city of Atlanta, Georgia. Operator 911. What's the nature of your emergency? Woman frantic crying, "Please help me, he's in the house." I hid in the closet. Operator. Okay, what's your exact location? Oh, woman, I'm sorry, I don't know the address. I just moved in today. Operator. All right, we're going to get some officers on the way to you. I need you to stay calm. I know you're scared, but stay calm for me. Okay, woman, I am scared. I hear him tapping. It's not my door. As the operator continues to try and gather information from the woman, in the background we can hear what sounds like light tapping. Operator, stay on the line with me. Don't hang up the phone. I repeat, don't hang up the phone. I need you to stay on the line so I can hear what's going on. Can you tell me your name, woman? My name is not important right now. Please just send somebody. He's going to find me. I can hear him. I can hear him. In the background, the tapping continues, along with what sounds like voices. Operator, okay? Are you in a closet, woman? Yes. Operator. Okay, I need you to stay in the closet. Don't come out. Whatever you do, don't come out. The police are on the way. They're going to be there as fast as they can. Just stay in the closet. Stay on the line with me. The line goes silent except for the continued tapping. Then we hear what sounds like a thump. Operator. Hello? Hello? Are you there? The line goes dead. The only sound now is the tapping, which seems to be getting more frantic. Then we hear what sounds like a loud pounding. And now there's a new sound in the background, a dog barking in the distance. Then another loud bang. And now what sounds like heavy footsteps near the closet. Then the line goes dead. Dispatch notes. On arrival, officers forced open the closet door, and it was empty. The woman was nowhere to be found. However, in the hall, officers observed fresh, muddy footprints that led to the back door. The footprints appeared to stop abruptly. There was no sign of forced entry to the back door or any windows. Officers checked the surrounding area, but the suspect was not located. That 911 call was never supposed to be public record. But thanks to a clerical error by a court reporter, it became part of an online database. When I first read this dispatch, I thought it was one of the most terrifying things I'd ever seen. Imagine being trapped in a closet listening to whatever it was that was outside, slowly but surely trying to get in while you're on the phone with 911, begging for help, only for the line to go dead and then total silence. It's enough to give you goosebumps. When I first read this, I assumed that whoever or whatever was out there had gotten into the house through a window or maybe a door that wasn't locked. But after watching the video, I'm not so sure. The person who called 911 definitely got into the house. That much is obvious. But did whoever let them in do it with the intention of hurting them? And if so, why? And where did they go? Did they run away? Or were they taken by whoever was out there? Unfortunately, this dispatch doesn't have any answers. It just has questions. Questions that unfortunately will probably never be answered. So what do you think happened here? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe for more content. This is the sound of a house in distress. In 2017, a homeowner in Phoenix, Arizona called 911 after their smart home alarm started going off by itself. "I live in a smart home," they explained. "All of the doors are locked. But the house is yelling at me. It's telling me to let it out. I don't know how to stop it." While on the phone with dispatch, you can hear LED lights flickering on and off in the background. Then a voice begins mimicking the alarm. "Let me out," it says. Then other voices begin to layer on top of it, all saying, "Please help me." The homeowner kept repeating that every door was locked. Dispatch asked them to check all the windows, too. So they did. But when they got to the front door, they noticed something strange. The deadbolt was extended, meaning it was locked from the outside. They tried to retract it, but it wouldn't budge. They tried the other doors, but they were the same, all locked from the outside. So they called back 911. This time they said they needed a police escort because they were afraid to enter their own home. When they arrived, they found no signs of forced entry, and none of the locks had been tampered with. How could someone lock them out of their own house? Even more concerning, the house didn't just lock itself, it spoke to them. Dispatch listened as the homeowner shut off the various systems throughout the house manually. A few things don't add up here. Why would someone go through the effort to lock the homeowners out of their house, only to have them call the police and get an automated voice that sounded like it was coming from within the walls? If the intruder had left, why would they then wait 3 hours for a locksmith to arrive before entering the house? Was anyone else creeped out by how calm the voice was while on the phone with dispatch? Even though the caller sounded scared, the voice that came over the speaker didn't. It was monotone and emotionless. It reminded me of the robot overlord from Wall-E. Do you think it was a malfunction or something more sinister? Let me know your thoughts below. For more videos of unexplained 911 calls, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. See you next time. This 911 call is one of the most disturbing ones I've ever heard. The caller is a young child who is presumably home alone and has just let himself in the front door. He then starts to cry and says into the phone, "Daddy, you're home." "That's not you." Dispatcher picks up the call and calmly asks, "Baby, where are you?" The child then begins to cry even harder and says he's Papa, but his eyes are empty. The dispatcher remains calm and asks, "Who's home right now?" The child responds by saying, "He's here. He came in the front door." "Daddy's not here. That's not him." The dispatcher says, "Okay, baby, I'm going to ask you again. Who's home right now?" The child responds, "It's the man, but he's not my daddy. Daddy's not here." At this point, the dispatcher realizes that something is very wrong and asks, "Baby, what's your name?" But the child has hung up the phone. The dispatcher immediately sends police to the home. They kick in the door and find the child unharmed and sitting alone on the couch. Meanwhile, officers begin searching for the man who they believe has taken the child's father to the hospital. It turns out that the man who was at the house was indeed the child's real father, who had just been released from the hospital after suffering a heart attack. The child had somehow gotten into the house by himself and then called 911, and he realized that his dad wasn't actually the man who had just come through the front door. The call file ends with heavy breathing and what sounds like a faint echo of laughter. I'm really glad that this child was okay. But this situation could have been avoided if the father had called ahead and made sure that someone was there to take care of his son. While he got himself checked out at the hospital, instead, he just showed up at the house unannounced, which put the kid in a really scary situation. I'm also surprised that no one else was home to watch the kid, whether it be a parent, a family member, or even a friend. You can't just leave a young child home alone like that. It's not safe. Even if you do, make sure that you have someone checking in on them every once in a while. Otherwise, they could get hurt or worse. But the scariest part of this whole thing is that faint echo of laughter at the end of the recording. Who was that man laughing? Was he the father, or was he someone else? If it was the father, why was he laughing? And if it wasn't the father, then who was it? Was it someone who was trying to break into the house and the father came home just in time to stop him? Or was it a random person who just happened to be outside the house and they were laughing at the child? I don't know. It's just weird. Whoever it was, it's really creepy. Now, I'm not going to speculate about what that laughter means, because we really do and have enough information to go off of here. All we know is that the child was found unharmed, and that's what matters. But still, it's one of those things that keeps me up at night. You know, I can't help but wonder who was laughing, and why were they laughing? If you have any information about this case, please contact the Franklin County Sheriff's Office in Columbus, Ohio, and please remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. I'll see you next time.